Hello everyone, welcome to this video. I don't know, I'm going to try to make my videos better quality. The thing is, I have to upload the video first take. I have to upload everything onto YouTube and then re-download it in a slightly crappier quality so I can edit it on the Mac computers at my school. I'm a college student. Today, we're going back to the early 2000s because that's when I grew up, because I am 18. Slightly better lighting. I changed it from the overhead light to my lamp. Two lists today. Number one, the top 15 best kids TV shows, mostly cartoons, but there's a couple live action ones in there. And the second list being top 5 things that still haunt me to this day that were scary, kind of. One of them I'm pretty sure I dreamed or hallucinated. And my original plan was to watch all of the 15, just an episode of the 15 shows, and then reorganize them, and I still might do that. Leave some sort of response if you want me to do that, please. So, yeah, and I'll be using Final Cut Pro on the Macs now, and I'll try to grab footage from at least the intros to these TV shows, so it's a little bit more interesting than just watching me talk in the spooky background. I do not know what's going on with my neck fat. Whatever angle I seem to use with my collar, it seems to be like, meh. I only made it to watching one of the top 15. It's number 15. You probably saw me put it in a playlist a while back. And all of these TV shows are going to be a playlist in reverse order. Like the first one on the playlist is going to be the number 15 slot. So those of you who are paying attention already know that number 15 goes to The Little Bear, and I watched it again. I'm sorry, The Little Bear. Little Bear, which is the purest show I have ever seen. Going back to it, I don't remember it because I didn't like it as much as I liked Franklin as a kid. I think it's because Franklin got into more shenanigans, but now I appreciate Little Bear for being the purest thing and the most respectful thing, especially when it comes to nature. And the animation is just, oh my god. Why was there a human? I think it would have been better if there wasn't a human. Sure, okay. And then, before we continue, I have notes on like TV shows that kind of stand out in my head, but I know them more for other media. I'm gonna talk about those after number 2 on this list. Number 14 goes to Little Miss Spider's Sunny Patch Friends, or Kids. I could never get that straight as a child. Though I grew up with the books more, in fact, my first Halloween costume made by my mom, and my first Halloween costume ever was Little Miss Spider, and I just, oh my god. I can remember the show kind of vaguely, and I remember that the kids were a little bit bratty, and it got a little too commercial compared to the books, and the brand kind of split ways. It was a later, was it Nick Jr.? Was it Nick Jr.? Future, we'd find out if it was Nick Jr. Number 14, Little Miss Spider, Sunny Patch Friends. Kid. Anyway, number 13, Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Hi, my name is Emily Elizabeth, and this is Clifford, my big red dog.
Clifford needed Emily, so she chose him for her own. And her love made Clifford.
Once again, I remember Clifford more for the game that my grandmother had on her Mac, and the books and media around the show than anything else, but I do remember his 2 friends, Cleo and, what was the bulldog's name? Max. Might be Max. More than anything else, but looking at it still makes me soft. So PBS, you did good. Next, wow, okay, wow, number 12. Am I doing this correctly? I have no clue.
Wow, everyone! My name is Websy.
And just this is for these last three, and this is the last one that's going to be like this, I promise. I remember the media, specifically the games, that I think it was Wow Wubsy. Wow. Around it, especially the online games, but from what I can tell, it's kind of got a visually unique style, and also breaking gender rules with a female that is handy with tools. Again, I'm probably going to revise this list once I watch an episode from every show on this list and like make a completely different list next week. Number 11, this is the closest one to being close to my heart because I remember segments of this show really strongly. It's one of Jim Henson's, again, better works. And like I really, as revolutionary as Sesame Street is, it's not the best show he did. But it's not this show either. You'll see. Between the Lions, by the way, the lion puppets are the cutest things that I have ever seen. My daughter doesn't like them though. He doesn't like puppets.
Hey now, hey wow, here's how. Come and read between the lines. Come on, come in, begin. The world awaits between the
I remember Between the Lions quite well, and it's rare nowadays to see a show like this push books and libraries as strong as this one did. Though I think another, as strongly as this one did, like the whole show took place in a library. And then yeah, there are shows that teach kids how to read. You got stuff like what was this? Like you have shows like Superboy where it's like they teach you how to read, but they don't talk about books that strongly. Like they introduce books, and yeah, I think it takes place in the library, but the fact that libraries are cool is really emphasized in Between the Lions. And gosh darn it, I remember most of the skits. The strongest one I can remember is Cliffhanger. Cliffhanger, that was a thing in Between the Lions. But yeah, number 11, Between the Lions. And now, the top 10, more recently burned into my brain. And number 10 being one I actually watched recently because it was recently back on Netflix. And also there was a remake, but fuck that remake, no, bye. Magic School Bus. Number 10.
Seatbelts, everyone! Please let this be a normal field trip.
With a friend? No way!
Fight me. I've already watched this in recent day. It still holds up, even though some of the science is flawed and there's that weird stuff in the end. Like, this is something. Hello everyone, welcome to this video. I don't know, I'm going to try to make my videos better quality. The thing is, I have to upload the video first take. I have to upload everything onto YouTube and then re-download it in a slightly crappier quality so I can edit it on the Mac computers at my school. I'm a college student. Today, we're going back to the early 2000s because that's when I grew up, because I am 18. Slightly better lighting, I changed it from the overhead light to my lamp. Two lists today. Number 1, the top 15 best kids TV shows, mostly cartoons, but there's a couple live action ones in there. And the second list being top 5 things that still haunt me to this day that were scary, kind of. One of them I'm pretty sure I dreamed or hallucinated. And my original plan was to watch all of the 15, just an episode of the 15 shows, and then reorganize them, and I still might do that. Leave some sort of response if you want me to do that, please. So yeah, and I'll be using Final Cut Pro on the Macs now, and I'll try to grab footage from at least the intros to these TV shows. So it's a little bit more interesting than just watching me talk in the spooky background. I do not know what's going on with my neck fat. Whatever angle I seem to use with my collar, it seems to be like, meh. I only made it to watching one of the top 15. It's number 15. You probably saw me put it in a playlist a while back. And all of these TV shows are going to be a playlist in reverse order. Like the first one on the playlist is going to be the number 15 slot. So those of you who are paying attention already know that number 15 goes to Little Bear. And I watched it again. I'm sorry, The Little Bear. Little Bear, which is the purest show I have ever seen. Going back to it. I don't remember it because I didn't like it as much as I liked Franklin as a kid. I think it's because Franklin got into more shenanigans, but now I appreciate Little Bear for being the purest thing and the most respectful thing, especially when it comes to nature. And the animation is just, oh my god. But why was there a human? I think it would have been better if there wasn't a human. Sure, okay. And then, before we continue, I have notes on like TV shows that kind of stand out in my head, but I know them more for other media. I'm gonna talk about those after number 2 on this list. Number 14 goes to Little to take care of her, and I'm like, I relate. Also kind of relate to Max and Ruby in the same way, but Charlie and Lola's better because British, and Lola's a little bit more behaved. She's just like, she likes exploring her world. Leave her alone. But yeah, number 8, Charlie and Lola. Number 7 goes to something that, yes, it happened. Yes, I love, and yes, I still sing some of the songs to this day in my head. Don't tell my mom. Number 7 goes to the Backyardigans.
Hi, I'm Pablo. My name's Tyrone. I'm Uniqua. I'm Tasha. And my name's Austin. And we're your backyard friends, the Backyardigans.
Four animal children going on imaginary adventures in their backyard. Imagination was a big thing in the early 2000s because we didn't have computers yet. Well, kind of. Computers weren't, well, tablets weren't a thing. Kids still play with toys. I still want to play with toys. Fuck you. Backyardigans was the literal shit as I was growing up. Well, not literal shit, but I really liked this show as a kid, though. What the fuck was Uniqua? An ant? An alien? They were pink and had suspenders. And Tasha was like the best female character I've seen in a long time. I guess I liked the Backyardigans a whole lot as a kid. I watched that show a lot, and when they were having a special, I remember marking it down on the calendar and really wanting it to happen already. So, you know, and I still sing the Mermaid song again. Fight me. Number 7, the Backyardigans. Number 6 goes to an obscure show that again is kind of calm, and I adore it. Like oh my god, kind of an interesting concept for a show as well. It's called Oswald. And it's about this blue octopus and his dog and their friend a Daisy, and I think another one, but I don't remember. And it's got this really nice style, and it's just really chill, and it's got a really cool art style, and he's just like this proper octopus going around with his dog and doing stuff. I don't know. I forgot what the show was about. I just remember it being cool, so you know that's what rewatches are for. Again, did I mention I'm making another list next week? Did I mention I'm lazy? Alright. Yeah, that Oswald was a thing that happened, and I wish it was more popular. So these next two are, next three actually, are more adult than the last couple because preteens are also strong in my memory. But you know what? It's childhood. It's not a specific era of my childhood. So number 5 goes to Winx, or the Winx Club.
Close your eyes and open your heart. Believe in yourself. That's how it starts. Dreams will come true. Just wait and see. 'Cause the magic's in you and
And it's only the classic series. Not any of this Charmix crap, because no. I mean, I do recognize it as beautiful and valid. It just wasn't a part of my childhood. Funnily enough, this one and the next one on the list also have moments that still stick with me. Who the fuck knew? But I really liked Winx as a kid. Talk about female empowerment and taking the concept of fairies not very strongly because, you know, reasons. But I really liked the Winx Club, and yes, Netflix revoice. And they cut a lot of stuff. No, don't. Moving on. Number 4. I love this show. Just to this day, I've watched this show again in modern times. I don't need to go back to it because I go back to it frequently. I still think it's one of the best shows that Disney has ever come out with. It's Kim Possible. Fight me.
oh yeah. I'm your basic average girl, and I'm here to save the world. You can't stop me 'cause I'm Kim Possible.
If I were to rank like the Disney Channel shows, this one would be probably my number 1 Disney Channel show. Kim Possible, female empowerment at its finest, and the 2 main characters end up together, and that was supposed to be the season finale. I guess not. And also, all of the characters were amazing and fleshed out. And it did fall into the trope that the main bad guy wasn't actually that bad, and it was actually the sidekick, but I don't care because Chico was awesome. And apparently they're going to make a live action movie. I'm actually really excited about that, and I hope they do the casting really well, and they get... What if they get, what is her name? She was in the new Jumanji remake. She's an actual redhead. She also played Amy on Doctor Who. What is her name? Oh my god, future me, put her name here, please. What if they get her for the role of Kim Possible? Because, please! It has to happen. I'm sorry. Fuck all your other choices. Her. She is badass. She can kick ass. She's already kind of looked like Kim Possible. Yes. And she's an actual redhead. Her. Please. Disney, don't fuck up on this. Please. Okay, and this last one I've had a little, number 5 or number 4, Impossible. This next one, I moved this one around a lot because I got trolled. You might have seen my Twitter rant on that. I got trolled. Turns out it's just a trolling comment. Number 3 goes to Fetch with Ruff Ruffman.
Life was missing its mystique. My squeaky toys had lost their squeak. And then, out of the blue, I saw the phone, and bam! My destiny was calling me.
Best show that PBS has ever put out. Fight me. Concept, cartoon dog gets 6 real-life kids, puts them through knowledge-based challenges, like The Amazing Race for kids, but less focus on the drama and more focus on the educational, and only in America. Best show ever. Talk about a unique concept. Though I was fooled into thinking that they were all actors for a while, but it turns out some of them went on to become actors. Good for you guys. And it was my childhood dream to be on that show. True fact about me. True fact. Yeah, happened. The top 2. Here, number 3. Fetch with Ruff Ruffman. I can still sing the theme song. Number 2 goes to something that I only prefer the first couple seasons of. Kind of funny that way, but you know what? The first few seasons were gold. And then things started changing, and they started becoming more of a brand, and it just didn't do it for me. But you know what? It still remains one of the classics. It's got a little bit of live action in it. Number 2 goes to Blue's Clues.
Hi out there, it's me, Steve. Have you seen Blue, my puppy? Come on in.
Fight me. I only like the seasons with Steve in it because Steve is the best, and it's kind of a really low expectation way of why he left. He didn't want to be building on the show, but okay. You know, I respect that, Steve. I respect you. I respect your choices as an actor. But yeah, Blue's Clues early seasons gold, yes. As it continued, like, it kind of got downgraded in quality, but it's still really good. Blue's Clues, best thing ever, except for number 1. But before we get to that, I have a couple notes. Out of the Box and Little Bill are 2 very ethnically mixed shows without the ethnic being the main center of conflict. Yes, good job, except Little Bill's a little awkward now because it was made by Bill Cosby. And then, before anyone says anything, I remember, Stanley game, Sesame Street. I remember Sesame Street and the show called Stanley. I remember more for the games that I owned as a kid than anything that aired on television. So, you know, that happened. I had 2 Sesame Street games. One, I can't remember what it was, and the other one was a parody of Alice Through the Looking Glass. And both of those were really fun, and the Stanley game was kind of weird. Well, not weird, but it was an animal-based show. Angelina Ballerina, I remember more from the books than the toys I had, but it was a really, beautiful, book series. The art was really good, and the dolls were really well-made dolls. My mom says she still has them, so maybe by the next time you see them, I'll have them to show to you. I kind of remember the TV show, but not really. I remember really wanting those ribbons, and no, the remake does not count. I didn't watch much Nickelodeon as a kid. There is an exception to this, which goes into the other list. And finally, one of those that didn't make it onto the list, but if I were to rank it, would be number 16, is a Boomafoo.
It's a crab fighter!
While walking in the woods one day, Chris and Martin saw something strange. A little leaping lemur who liked to bounce and play. They followed their new bouncing friend, not knowing where this adventure would end. The animals were headed just around the bend.
Because, yes, Boomafoo is amazing, and the lemur died recently. Fun fact. R.I.P. to Boomafoo. May you bounce and play in heaven forever. I don't know. I was trying to work the theme song in. Anyway, let's get to number 1. Number 1, undoubtedly, still makes me melt from my childhood. Always will be number one, even on the revised list. Bear in the Big Blue House.
Welcome to the Blue House.
Hello, I'm the small mouse.
Things to do.
Fun for you.
Howdy from the Big Bear. Want some fun?
Here's where
Just for you.
all is new in the House of Blue. Lots of room at our house.
Catch the moon at our house.
Kitchen's here. Bathroom's there.
Attic full of stuff here.
Pillows full of fluff here. Just for you in the House of Blue. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Big Blue House. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Big Blue House. Door is open. Come on in.
Now you're here.
So let's begin.
One of Jim Henson's best things that he's ever made. Talk about a pure TV show. Like, the songs will get stuck in your head like that. The characters were really nice and kind of gender ambiguous. There you go. Though I think Muppets in general are kind of gender ambiguous. The only thing that was kind of a downside was when they started the Breakfast with Bear series, and I was terrified of him coming to surprise me. Like, love the show, but stay the fuck out of my home. Yeah, I love this show, and so my heart, I love it so much. And when I have kids, I'm gonna raise them on this show. Fight me, I don't care. It is the best show for kids ever. I cannot remember what channel. That was my top 15, but I'm gonna segue right into the top 5 things that still stick with me as a kid, from when I was a kid into adulthood. That scared the bejesus out of me, and I probably repressed for a few years. A lot of them have a common thread, and see if you can get where I'm coming from. So number 5 has to do with, again, the Nicktoons series. I think Nicktoons and stuff. I happened to catch both Rugrats and Jimmy Neutron. I was never allowed to watch them as a kid, but I happened to catch the worst episodes where there were bad dreams. I think you all know what I'm referring to at the Rugrats one. I'm not even going to touch that one. It's terrifying. I've seen on other lists that it's also pretty scary for late 90s kids, so there you go. And the Jimmy Neutron thing had something to do with the teacher turning into a plant. And that is all I have to say about Nick Jr. Or not Nick Jr., Nicktoons. I didn't watch a lot of Nickelodeon as a kid. I wasn't even allowed to watch SpongeBob. To this day, that's why I don't... excuse me. That's why I don't like it. Sorry, you can hate me all you want. I never grew up with it. I wasn't allowed to watch it, and I don't like it to this day. Sorry. I recognize the cultural impact, but no, don't like it. Number 4 has to do with something I mentioned earlier. It was Winx Club. And it was a bit later in the series. There was this story segment that had to do with, like, Bloom, that's the main character, finding her fire within because she was fire elemental based. Tiny segue, I think Techno and Musa are lesbians and are a gay couple. Fight me. Okay, back to the main thing. Trying to find the fire within her, and they have to go into this, like, great crystal hall to find this flower of fire or something, and each of them splits up and goes through these rooms, and each of them has to make a choice between what they want and this horrible, horrible punishment. Like, for example, I forget what Bloom's is, but Musa has to go without her mother. Like, she has this thing where she can reunite with her mother, or she has to go without, which I don't know how that relates to her powers, but whatever. It's this kind of really sad thing. Techna has to go, like, be normal, I think, or, it absorbs all of technology into her and is then a robot. I don't remember what the other ones are. But the one that scared the bejesus out of me as a kid, and I still remember to this day, is Stella's. It was like, go on as normal, or the most terrifying thing. Future me, if you could find a picture, put it up here.
You mean this is what I'll look like from now on? Yeah.
Because, yeah, this is a show for little girls and empowering and stuff. That's appropriate. Sure, animators, yeah, good job. Good job. That's the number 4 thing that sticks with me as a kid. Number 3 relates to Kim Possible. And watching back, it doesn't scare me at all, but I remember it being way worse, so maybe they cut that episode from ever airing again. Maybe? I don't know. But it was, or maybe they just cut the scene out, or maybe I was just a sensitive little child. There was an episode, I guess it was a couple episodes, where Draken had these, I think it was Draken, had these robots that were like style based, because, you know, it's a girls show. And they were meant to mimic those, or mimic a pattern. And they were, I think they were called BBs, and they were really focused on being beautiful and the best. The one thing I remember is that I think the strongest thing that I remember from them is not the part where they got mangled, but again, something that might not have come up again, because it might have gotten cut when it was aired, but it was like they were really focused on like themselves, and they were really self-centered. So Kim Possible defeats them by showing them all scrambled up, and then all of them kind of just destroy themselves by being all I'm not explaining this correctly. Like they see themselves as ugly and they're like, oh, this cannot be, we shall die now. It's really stupid, but, you know, as a kid and being super sensitive to like robotic voices and stuff, it affected me. That was number 3. Number 2 is also a bit kind of stupid, but I remember, and I am the only one in my family that remembers this. No one else remembers this. It's a show called Jakers: The Adventures of Pigglewinks, and it's Australian, or well, I think it aired in Australia mainly, but it's an Irish-based show. About a pig and a duck and a cow, and they go on adventures. And then this one episode scared me to death, and I think traumatized me. And the main character, the pig, I can't remember his name. So if any of you remember this, please let me know, because I feel like I'm going crazy. But if I find film proof, I will be putting it in as I describe the thing, as with all of these. Except for the Nicktoons one, because no. There was the main character, the pig, isn't supposed to stay up and watch and listen to this horror radio show, but he does it anyway because he's a rascal. And he falls asleep, and he has a dream that at first starts off kind of unusual, and you know, cabbages are kind of lifted to a higher level, and this is Ireland, so stereotypes. Hey, truck, can you shut the fuck up? I'm trying to record. Thank you. Anyway, at first it's like, oh, this is a prize cabbage, and we like cabbage here. And then it's like and then he goes to school after packing cabbage for lunch, I think. And then it turns out everyone's turning into cabbage, and then it's like cabbage zombies or something. That cabbage duck face will haunt me forever. Number one, I think I dreamed. I'm pretty positive I dreamed the more I look into it. But you know what? It still sticks into my head and it kind of relates. This might have been a Sesame Street based thing. It might have been something I dreamed. And context, I have had a fear of elephants until fairly recently. Until like until my preteens. I think it's because they're very loud and I'm kind of sensitive to noise. But I have a fear of, well, I didn't like elephants as a kid, and especially them looking straight on. And I can remember this in almost high detail, is this thing where this elephant gets made out of cloth or actors or people or something, and it's on this really black background, and then this, and again, the voice isn't very clear in my head, so again, this is reinforcing the point where I might have dreamed this, but, introduces, and it's a her elephant, and it's like maybe she gets rejected by society or something, and it's like, you don't like me or something, and it's this really calm female voice, so it doesn't have any intonation, and then it's like, okay, and then, or like maybe it says goodbye or something. I don't remember the thing that the female voice said, and then it like falls apart, and I don't know why that still chills me because the elephant was kind of warped. I've done all the research I can into this thing. I can't find any evidence that this ever happened. But you know what? Fuck it. To me, it's like the strongest thing in my memory. It might have not even happened. I might have dreamed the thing. But if you have any information of what I might have imagined, comment, please. Because it will drive me crazy. But you know, that is my ad-lib list with kind of movies, kind of film backup stuff put in. Next week I should have watched all of the 15 in this and made a definite top 10 list, and I'll be making that next week. And then I don't know what's happening. But yeah, this is the raw version, which will be going up on YouTube, and then I get to leave and edit the crap out of it, so you won't even see this end part. But for now, I bid you adieu. I'm still working at this whole intro-outro thing, but see you all next week or something. Bye!